Neighbourhood policing has come a long way since the days of Dixon of Dock Green.
Good evening, all.
In this new series of Neighbourhood Blues, we get a unique insight into a new type of community policing. One where police listen to the concerns of local people.
OK, thank you for coming. Thanks. Thank you.
Tackle the crimes that make everyday life a misery.
Please don't drink any more from that, please.
And win back the trust of the public. We have exclusive access, and we'll be following them day and night.
You're right. They are pretty cool.
To get to find out firsthand if this new style of policing really works.
You're under arrest for theft.
Coming up. Following residents' complaints about drug use and dealing on their streets, the neighbourhood team raid a suspected drug dealer's den.
Some nasty implements there.
A town centre crackdown on antisocial behaviour sees a street brawler getting carted off into custody.
At least you said, I mean, nothing.
The neighbourhood team do their bit to stamp out the multi-million-pound trade in fake designer goods.
This is 100% genuine.
Well, I can't take your word for that.
And a rise in thefts from gardens sees the police on a trail of a stolen bench.
It's a possibility that your items have actually been burnt.
The fight against crime in towns and villages up and down the country is being waged by new neighbourhood police teams who are working with local people to cut crime. It's a great idea on paper, but the big question is, does it really work?
It's another busy day at Sheerness Police Station. A neighbourhood officer, Ant Hopper, is out making a patrol of the parish. These police patrols are a regular sight across the Isle of Sheppey. And the neighbourhood team's high visibility makes it much easier for the public to approach them.
For me, community policing is important because it gives the members of the community a point of contact. You're a name rather than a uniform. Rather than just being a member of Kent Police, you are someone that they talk to and know. And therefore, it makes their life a lot easier. They feel more comfortable speaking to you and approaching you.
Do you have any concerns in Minster? Any problems with speeding or parking or any concerns for the council or the police?
Many officers choose to sign up to the neighbourhood team because they're born locally and want to give something back to the communities where they grew up.
The most satisfying part of my job as a neighbourhood police officer is when I achieve something, when I feel that I've detected a crime or I put a smile back on someone's face. We deal with all sorts of things, crimes, domestic issues, all sorts of stuff. And every time we deal with something, when you see it's had an effect on someone's life, it satisfies you.
But despite working around the clock, the teams are never going to be able to totally deter criminals. And there's one type of crime that regularly tops people's list of complaints to the police. Antisocial behaviour caused by gangs of youths frequently features on people's lists of complaints.
A lot of young people loitering on street corners, nowhere else to go.
And it's quite scary when you're alone at night, especially on the side streets.
There was a guy with a hammer. He was trying to get my phone and my wallet.
The neighbourhood teams have been challenged by the public to reduce incidents of drinking, intimidation and drug abuse in public. And the police have made it their priority to listen to local people and reduce the quantity of any such incidents occurring.
We tend to have sometimes like a lot of maybe younger people on and around the streets.
I've been hit on nights out before by drunk people.
And I think they need to have more police officers out on the beat, really.
The police have responded to this by setting up controlled alcohol zones, banning drinking in towns and parks, performing regular patrols of residential areas where there have been complaints about drug dealing, and also mounting strikes on places where people have said they feel threatened by the behaviour of youths hanging around street corners. First stop on the team's crackdown today is a local housing estate. Sergeant Andy Bell heads up the Faversham Neighbourhood team, and he's on the lookout for trouble.
There's been a number of crimes here over and above what you'd normally expect to see, and we as a team have been sent in to deal with them basically.
And it doesn't take too long for the call to come in for Andy to provide some backup. One of his team has spotted a group of youths acting suspiciously and suspects they're smoking cannabis.
Adrian,
what we got? Drove past and they're smoking that.
With a tough new stand on drug crime being taken, any hope the lads have of a quick ticking off are dashed. And the situation gets a whole lot worse when one of the eagle-eyed bobbies spots what looks like a small stash of cannabis stored beneath a car.
Who's that?
Mine.
Yours?
No, not mine.
You admit you're smoking it?
Come on, lads, you didn't think we didn't see it. One of you now has got to be big enough to turn around and say, right, OK, I know I've done wrong, it's mine. Simple question, whose is it?
I don't know.
Well, if no one's admitting to ownership of it, then we'll have to arrest and interview all three.
Listen.
All three of you are going to be coming in unless one of you admits it's yours, in which case then we know whose it is.
Otherwise you're just dropping your two mates in as well, whoever's it is. It's your choice you've got to make, isn't it? It's your code you live by, just be honest. No? If not one and all, it's yours. OK?
The young lad is questioned and searched. And the seriousness of his situation begins to dawn on him.
Do you reckon I'm going to get arrested?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to deal with get it done and dusted.
The boy has been in trouble with the police before.
He's a very troubled young man that's caused a lot of criminal offences, a lot of antisocial behaviour. Currently he's on an order where he's out of county in a boarding school from Monday through to Thursday. He's back here Friday through to Sunday, obviously with the hope that would sort his behaviour out, but as you've seen today, probably not. We've got his mum just arrived over there, she's with my colleague at the moment.
I'm not disputing what my child is, I'm not disputing that. But what I'm saying is, it is the dealers.
Of course
I mean,
it
what
is.
scumbag is serving a 13-year-old with drugs?
The group of youths is now off the street, but Andy knows that the young lad's mother's concerns ring true. And it's not long before Andy and the neighbourhood team are prompted into hard action against a local suspected drug dealer.
That's worth about 50, 60 quid. So he's under arrest at the minute.
Gardeners now spend about £4 billion each year, making the land around their homes more beautiful. But our green-fingered obsession has led to a crime wave, with thieves raiding sheds and stealing garden ornaments. And it's a crime that's made its way to the Isle of Sheppey. Over in Sheerness, Inspector Steve Griffiths has received a complaint from a local woman. Her garden has been raided and furniture and ornaments stolen.
What are we going to do then? Steph? Yeah, ladies in Sheerness has had a bench stolen and some ornaments stolen overnight.
Steph has been on the neighbourhood team for 2 years, and it's going to be his job to deliver justice to local resident Dawn, who is particularly distressed about the theft of her bench because it was handmade by her late husband.
We're just going to go around there and give her some reassurance, do some house to house. You never know, someone from the local area might know a bit more about it. Good, well done guys.
Steph and Terry head over to pay the victim a support visit and to investigate the crime further.
This type of crime is fairly rare, certainly around this area. We're going to go do some house to house, a bit of a route search and see what we can find. Terry's gone in to speak to the lady. I'm going to do a bit of a route search and see what we find.
Dawn's property backs onto some grassland and waste ground. Steph makes a quick search of the land to see if the bench or any other items may have been dumped there.
We've got quite good visibility up and down the canal. Anything that would be discarded here that hasn't gone in the water will be pretty obvious.
Steph doesn't find any of the items. But inside the victim's house, after a long chat with Dawn, Terry has some new leads for them to work on.
What did she say?
Well, she spoke to a neighbour who lived around the corner, and he reckons he's seen the windmill and the bench in someone's back garden just round the corner, so I think we should go and have a look around there.
Steph and Terry head over to the neighbouring house where the new info suggests the stolen garden property may be. On arriving at the house, they find no one's at home. But a quick check of the back garden turns up an ornament Steph believes was on the list of stolen items.
There's obviously been a bonfire. We don't know if the ornaments have been on there. There's also a traffic sign that's found its way into the garden. We've also found what we think is one of the ornaments that's on top of their roof.
But Steph makes an even more serious discovery in the garden.
We've also found some equipment that is usually used to grow cannabis. So that's something we're obviously going to have a look at. I've taken a few pictures. One of the neighbours has come out with the owner on the telephone, so I've spoken to him and he's on his way back. He'll be in about half hour. So I'm just going to make a quick call and ensure we've got a search team, because when he comes back we'll arrest him and search the property.
Steph and Terry are now going to sit and wait for the people who live in the house to return. And they're in for a surprise when the neighbourhood team confronts them.
We're going to do a search on your property to see if there's any further items in there.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
The neighbourhood teams are often seen out and about, listening to the concerns of the public and using information they provide to tackle crimes taking place on their doorstep.
Everything else in your area, not worried?
Yeah.
The local marketplace is a feature of nearly every town across the country. A popular spot for local people to rummage for a bargain and have a chat with friends and neighbours. But a recent trading standards investigation found a number of market sites in the UK had at least one seller offloading counterfeit designer goods, and the neighbourhood teams are doing their bit to help stamp out the problem. Over in Sheerness, trading standards have received a tip-off that a local market trader is offloading fake designer clothes to the locals. Inspector Steve Griffiths wants to stop the trade and has drafted in the neighbourhood team to assist.
Town centre guys have had a bit of a tip-off that some counterfeit clothing is going through the market, being sold there.
The counterfeit, while it might seem a fairly small, innocuous crime, the reality is this actually usually is fuelled by bigger crime syndicates who are using this to go towards drugs. There's people that are being brought into the country that are forced to labour to make these goods. So if we've got the opportunity, then I would like us to be doing something fairly proactive on it, Steph.
Yeah, we've had some feedback from people in the town. We've contacted Trading Standards and they are now leading it. We've given them the information.
Thank you. Good. Well done, guys.
Good morning, Island Neighbourhood team. Peter Scout speaking. How can I help you?
Gavin is going to be leading the neighbourhood team on a joint op with Trading Standards.
Just got off the phone with Trading Standards. They've just done a test purchase at Sheerness Market. There's a stallholder there who's been selling branded goods, all of them of which are fake. So we're going to go along there, assist them for seizure and arrest and deal with the gentleman.
The police head over to the marketplace to meet up with Trading Standards. One of their undercover officers has already made a test purchase on the stall.
We've got a test purchase and it's a branded item. It's a Franklin and Marshall top.
Lee has carried out many similar investigations into counterfeit goods in the past.
Just looking at it, it's not of the quality you'd expect, and the price we paid for it would indicate that it is counterfeit. At this point we don't know how much he's got, so we're going to go back, have a word with him, find out who he is and what sort of stuff he's selling.
Backed up by the neighbourhood team, Trading Standards move in to confront the man. The stall owner is immediately asked to stop selling and his stock is frozen whilst he's questioned.
We've made a test purchase of one of the items
Right.
and had a look at it, and it looks like it's counterfeit.
Right.
and also a lot of the other items you've got on here look like they might be counterfeit as well.
As Lee informs the trader that they believe him to be guilty of selling fake goods, the rest of the team begin to search through the rest of his stock. Almost immediately, they hit the jackpot.
Franklin and Marshalls. Fred Perry in here. Just seizing these goods. Basically, Air is a trademark of Nike and are not genuine, so therefore counterfeit goods.
These goods could have come from sweatshops in the Far East. Suppliers will often use proceeds to fund drug deals and organised crime.
I've got some more Air stuff. This one here.
As a consumer, you have no rights if the goods break or fail to meet expectations. It really is a case of buyer beware.
Yeah, another box of stuff here.
The search has turned up a mountain of counterfeit clothes worth thousands of pounds. With this haul now seized, Trading Standards and the Neighbourhood team extend their search to the market trader's van.
You got your vehicle with you here today?
On opening up his vehicle,
what are these here?
The team are confronted with even more fake goods. With the evidence stacked up against him, it's time for Lee to deliver the trader the bad news. That he's out of business and could be looking at criminal charges.
Are you aware of counterfeit goods and the law?
No, I know what they're called. Yeah, go on then.
The stallholder tries to defend himself, producing paperwork in an effort to prove he has bills of sale from where he bought the goods.
If I got invoice and everything I'm showing you, I mean, that's not fair, isn't it?
Well, no, that just shows who you bought it from. It doesn't show it's genuine. Have you got something from these guys saying they're genuine Nike products?
I just got from them, only for kids stuff.
If you could show me that, it'd be different, because I suspect that he's selling fake stuff.
The alarm bells really start ringing from the market trader when he realises all of his stock is being confiscated and removed immediately.
What we're going to have to do is seize them, take everything that looks as though it's counterfeit.
Oh, you don't need to take all of them, you take one piece then.
Well, no, because if they're counterfeit, you'll sell the rest in the meantime, and that's what we're trying to stop.
But as the stock is seized, tensions rise.
Telling you, this is 100% original.
As the trader tries to prevent his illegal goods and business being taken away from him.
Clamping down on crime in the community is the driving force of neighbourhood policing. And for the teams, it all starts with making the streets a safer place.
Earlier on, the neighbourhood team in Faversham were out on patrol in an area where residents have complained that gangs of youths were creating antisocial behaviour problems.
Simple question, whose is it?
One young lad was arrested on suspicion of cannabis possession. A complaint from his mother about the dealers being the real people they should be going after is followed by the team being issued with orders to serve an arrest warrant on a man suspected of dealing cannabis in the area. To carry out the warrant, Andy has assembled a response squad. They're going to be carrying out a dawn raid on the suspected dealer.
Our intention today is to do a drugs warrant under the Misuse of Drugs Act.
The suspect shares a house with his mother.
Team 1 and 2, you'll make your way along the road here and stop shy of the house so you can't be seen from anywhere. Aid, you and I, we're coming in this way and we're going to stop shy of the alleyway there, so again we can't be seen from the house. As soon as we make contact with the people in the house, just contain them until everyone's secure. Once everyone is secure, we'll all place them in the same room and then we'll start searching the house. Any questions at all? No. Right, cheers guys.
The crew tool up and head over to the location. It's a dawn raid and the suspected dealer is in for a rude awakening. As soon as they touch the tarmac, they head straight for the door and prepare to storm the suspected dealing den by force. With any drug raid, surprise and speed are vital ingredients.
Police, open up! Stay where you are now, stay there! Stay there, stay there! Get out! Stay where you are!
With the house opened up, the residents are quickly rounded up and everyone in the house accounted for.
No, not yet. It's downstairs, right?
We've got a warrant to execute here today for any drugs. This is signed out by the magistrates under the Misuse of Drugs Act.
As Andy delivers the warrant to Mum, the rest of the team sweep the house and find evidence of drug abuse in the son's bedroom.
Got a small amount at the moment, and there's some loose in the bowl and a couple of grinders. So at the moment he's under arrest at the minute.
So far, obviously, we've come in, found a very small amount of what looks to be personal stuff, which is what we suspected. But obviously now we've got to get everyone secure, get them in the same room, and then we'll search the house properly for anything else.
The house is now a crime scene and totally locked down. Mother and son are detained in the front room, while the rest of the team search the house for further evidence.
Starting this corner over here. Okay.
The search of the bedroom turns up dangerous-looking weapons that the team will bag up and remove as potential evidence. Thankfully, none of them were linked to any crime. The lower floor is clean, but back up in the bedroom, the evidence of criminal activity is stacking up.
That at the moment that's worth about 50, 60 quid. We've got a deal book there with people that owe him money. Open it up, there's a little list of people, and probably the figures on the side is the money he owes. The guy ringing him at the moment, he's got him down for a 75 quid, so he's probably ringing up to score this morning. That's it.
The discoveries could all lead to the suspect being charged if he's proven guilty of any wrongdoing.
Okay, just give an update on where we are at the moment. Obviously you can see my colleague is bagging up the exhibits we've got from this house. The two downstairs will be arrested, one for actual possession with intent to supply now, because he's got a deal book and various different phones where people keep phoning up and asking for drugs. We've got the money.
Over £1,000 in used notes is confiscated, and with the exhibits bagged up, the suspect is taken away to the van to be booked in down at the station.
Well, I've got to arrest you for possession with intent to supply. The evidence we found in your bedroom, it suggested that you're supplying drugs. But
yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, we didn't get sorted.
Have you got anything to say at caution? No. Okay. No reply. Thanks very much.
And even Mum finds herself being taken down to the station for further questioning.
Can you stop it with that camera? Or I'm gonna curse you so bad that you're gonna be at West Night.
Right, sit in the back, well done. Oi, language.
It's been a successful operation and shows that the neighbourhood team is determined to keep the streets clean. Still to come. The investigation into the missing garden bench takes a new turn.
We're going to do a search on your property to see if there's any further items in there.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Fake designer goods, once headed for the dustbin, now head for a good cause.
To get clothes that are warm and dry when it is so cold can be really life-changing this time of year.
And a couple of friends turn foe as blood is spilled on the streets of Sittingbourne.
At least you said put him in a nose or nothing.
Across the country, gardens are being raided by thieves looking to steal tools, lawnmowers, ornaments and even plants. As many as 1 in 5 homes with a garden has been targeted by burglars. Over in Sheerness, Steph and Terry are on the trail of heartless thieves who stole, amongst other items, a garden bench belonging to local resident Dawn. The bench was of enormous sentimental value to Dawn because it was handmade by her late husband. Following a tip-off, the search of a neighbouring property has turned up an item that Steph believes may have been stolen from Dawn's garden. More worryingly, Steph and Terry have also unearthed evidence that suggests cannabis may have been produced at the house. They sit it out for the man who owns the house to return.
There are other items that I can see in your garden that lead me to believe you're cultivating cannabis. Okay, so I'm going to arrest you on suspicion of cultivating cannabis.
Who, me?
Okay, yeah, you. As the owner of this property.
Well, it's mine and the boys.
It's yours and the boys?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to caution you first. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something you later rely on in court. I've got some officers coming to help me, because what we're going to do a search on your property to see if there's any further items in there and any cannabis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you aware of the items in your garden, sir?
I've seen them, but I don't know what it is at the end of the day, so
okay.
I don't know what it is.
and his son calls up asking why the police have detained him.
On suspicion of cultivating cannabis because of all the items in the back garden.
The son is reluctant to admit his own involvement.
Whose is it then? Okay, so it's all yours, and you're an electrician. All of it, every bit of it, yeah? Right, which bits aren't yours then? Is this going to be selective? Right, okay. I know you're trying to protect here, but if you're going to be doing that, and you're saying some of it's yours, but you're not saying all of it's yours, yeah, but I'm not just talking about the electrical bits, mate. And I think you're getting where I'm coming from, but you've got to make a decision if you're having it. All right?
As the man's son makes his way to the house, police backup arrives to conduct a thorough search of the garden and also inside of the house. The man who owns the house has been cleared of any wrongdoing, and the police concentrate their investigation on the other people who live there.
The son's on his way back from London, and from what he's already said, it sounds like he's admitting that his party got out of hand and him and his mates have taken various items.
As the search gets underway, the truth starts coming out. The son admits that Dawn's garden ornaments were stolen by him and his friends as part of a drunken prank that got out of hand and ended up with the garden bench being burnt. The news about the bench is sure to come as a devastating blow for Dawn because it was made by her late husband. The team now concentrate on getting to the truth about cannabis being produced at the house. Steph inspects the back garden in more detail, and it's not long before he comes across bags of garden waste containing some very suspicious looking plant cuttings.
Right, you've got one bag of cut cannabis here. There you go. They also contain cannabis. I'll have a look through the bags and see if there's any paperwork that's been discarded with them or anything that can link it to any particular person.
With the evidence of the drugs, the situation is looking increasingly serious.
He's been arrested, obviously, as you saw, suspicion of cultivation. His son's on his way back. He's already intimated that he owns the items that we use. He says an electrician. I don't know if you need bags of cut cannabis plants to be an electrician, but they're in the garden as well.
The search inside is turning up more evidence of criminal activity.
We've found a carrier bag full of herbal cannabis, which has been cut up off the plants, which obviously confirms that cannabis was being cultivated here.
Some white powder found will have to be tested at the station to find out if it's an illegal substance. As it's bagged up for evidence, a lodger who lives at the property turns up and admits ownership.
So, if you want to nick me now, I don't mind. I'm not going to get aggressive or nothing.
No.
And that's the truth. If you want me to go down to the police station, I don't mind.
Right, in here, what we've got is just a small amount of white powder that was found in one of the bedrooms. We've got someone who's come back to the house saying they're a lodger in the house. We've seized this and some cash, also some herbal cannabis. We've got a person in custody who'll be going to Sittingbourne Police Station, and we've got one more making their way back from work from London who is also meeting us at custody at Sittingbourne, where they will be interviewed over finds in the house.
The neighbourhood team now have to weigh up who they're going to charge for the list of offences, ranging from theft to criminal damage, in an investigation that all began with a few garden ornaments going missing. Back over on the Isle of Sheppey, the neighbourhood team supported trading standards in a joint op to crack down on fake designer goods being sold at the Sheerness marketplace.
What are these here?
The manufacture and supply of counterfeit goods has been linked to drug dealing and organised crime. The authorities want to stamp out their sale.
Are you aware of counterfeit goods and the law?
Following the news that his stock was being seized and removed, panic set in for the market trader.
You don't need to take all of them, and then take one piece of them.
Well, no, because if they're counterfeit, you'll sell the rest in the meantime, and that's what we're trying to stop.
In one last-ditch effort to stop his stock being removed, the market trader claimed that only a small portion of his goods is counterfeit, with the rest being genuine.
I'm telling you, this is 100%. This is 100% original.
Maybe you've got some real ones. Maybe you've got some fake ones.
This one is someone giving the mark. You just tried them. This is 100% original. You're taking these. You proof me. Okay, you show me. This is 100% original.
Well, I can't take your word for that. I've got to get the trademark holder to tell me that that's real.
Okay, this is 100% genuine.
But that's what they got to check out. Okay.
As the stall owner is forced to watch his entire stock being emptied, Gavin delivers him even more bad news.
Okay, based on the goods we found today, okay, I'm arresting you on suspicion of selling counterfeit goods against the Trademark Act.
Right.
All right. Do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may begin in evidence. Okay.
If all the items turn out to be counterfeit, he could be looking at a heavy fine.
The store owner here, we've had him arrested and he'll be coming back on bail at a later date after we've had time to send the items off to trademark holders so they can tell us whether or not they're counterfeit or genuine.
But what becomes of the hundreds of thousands of counterfeit goods seized every year? Richard Humphreys from the charity His Church helps find a good home for the countless counterfeit clothes the authorities seize every year.
The police do an amazing job in seizing counterfeit clothes, but once they've got it, then they're on a bit of a hiding to nothing because it's illegal. They'd have to destroy it. That would cost money to destroy it. It's not good for the environment. So rather than throw it away, shred it, incinerate it, what we'll do is we'll provide a solution where we'll rebrand all that clothing. We'll actually go over the logo and we'll embroider it. It'll be a brand new His, and we'll give it away to people who really need it. So it won't be thrown away. It'll be used by people who are very, really worthy causes and people who need it.
Today, he's distributing bundles of rebranded clothes to the Sheerness charity for the homeless, Porchlight.
To have charities like his offer such a generous donation to us, well, it's fantastic. A lot of the people we work with don't have a lot of money, so they're on benefits or they may not have any income at all. So to get clothes that are warm and dry when it is so cold, and we've got a lot of people still sleeping outside in Kent, can be really life-changing this time of year. It's really good, thank you.
A clampdown on an illegal trade has been turned to the public good, and it's another example of neighbourhood policing at work in a way that stretches from street crime to reaching out to the most vulnerable people in the community.
Nothing makes people feel safer than the sight of a bobby on the beat. But the neighbourhood team's foot and bike patrols are often carried out to keep a specific problem in check, and reducing antisocial behaviour is top of the list.
Many people complain to the police that they feel their town centres are no-go zones after dark, for fear of being abused or threatened by youths looking to cause trouble.
You don't feel safe when you go out.
It's a lot of them getting drunk in the park, abusing you.
Fights starting outside bus stops, that kind of thing.
Smoking spliffs in there.
Well, it's mugging, isn't it? Drugs and whatnot.
So if you had police around more, you feel like you could walk out more in the evening.
In response to this antisocial behaviour, neighbourhood teams across the country have stepped up town centre patrols, rolled out controlled drinking zones, banning alcohol in public, and operate a zero-tolerance policy to threatening and abusive behaviour.
Right, you're going to be sprayed!
Tonight over in Sittingbourne, during a routine antisocial behaviour patrol, the team get called to the scene of a violent street brawl.
You've got one man in a red hoodie with a bloody nose, another man in a white hoodie, dark jeans, outside Halifax.
Red hoodie, white hoodie. Halifax is on here, isn't it?
Andy and his unit move in to break up the fight and attempt to sort out the problem.
But what's going on?
No, reduce him.
Yeah, I'll talk.
The team is forced to separate them in an attempt to defuse the quarrel.
Do you want to talk to Miss Mel here?
What's happened, mate?
He's just said me in the nose.
What for?
I don't know, nothing.
Are you his mate, are you?
Yeah, I was his mate, yeah.
With the men split up, Andy tries to get to grips with one side of the story.
How's he got the nose?
And he's just headbutting me in the nose.
The guy in the white's just headbutting him.
For nothing, mate, for nothing.
As his colleague starts questioning the other man involved in the street row.
Segregation, you ain't going nowhere until I find out what's happened, right?
It turns out the men were friends.
Have
Did you actually see anything tonight?
No.
Other members of the group were witnesses to what happened and now find themselves being police witnesses to what may be a potential assault.
It's just drink though, please.
I understand that. It's just drink does funny things to people.
It's not long until the questions start delivering answers about how the men ended up turning from friends to foes.
Basically, long and short of it, they're all drunk together and he's, for some reason, headbutted him, which obviously led to the nosebleed. But yeah, they've been all night according to this, so let's go and find out what's going on with them. Just make sure he's all right in the back, mate.
Because the victim is intoxicated, Andy has to simplify the situation so the drunken man can understand what's going to happen to him following the fight.
What we'll do, fella, we'll get a very, very quick what happens tonight from you, which my colleague will take now. He can do it in the back of the car, take 2 seconds, and then someone will have to come in and see you in the morning when you're more sober to get a proper...
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
Meanwhile, because of all the physical evidence of assault and the eyewitness statements, the suspect is led to the police van. The police have no choice but to arrest the man for ABH, or actual bodily harm, inflicted upon his friend. Concerned that the man might not be just drunk, he is asked if he's also carrying drugs.
You got anything in your pockets, fella, at all? Do you? You got any weed on you now, Tom?
I got no Class A, B, C.
Got no Class A. Right.
Following a search and denials, he comes up clean.
Right, go on then, John, if you want to do the honours, mate.
Right,
But he finds himself formally arrested for the assault.
So now, just from that 11:15, right? You're going to
Why
suspicion of
is
ABH,
this
right? You don't have to say anything about my arm in the bench, not
Oh,
mention
you're
questions, something
joking.
later on, cool.
Yeah, you're really kidding me, aren't you?
Big over in front of you, mate.
Well, you're not going to...
The man is taken to the cells.
No, we're not.
Sit yourself in, mate.
We're not.
Sit you in the back, mate.
His friend is advised to visit A&E to get checked out and told to sleep off the excesses of a night on the town.
Right, you go with your girlfriend, she's going to look after you, all right?
Okay, all right.
No, you're all right, mate, you're covered in blood, you're fine. Right, see you later, take care. As you can see, we've had 2 drunk males, very drunk for this time of night. I think they know each other. They've been involved in a fight, pretty much over drink, nothing else from what people are saying. The guy in the white, he's been arrested on suspicion of causing assault occasioning actual bodily harm. The other guy's gone back home. So that's the end of their evening.
The arrests made tonight demonstrate the zero-tolerance stand against antisocial behaviour that the neighbourhood team takes, and is designed to send a message to offenders and to reassure the public. Over on the Isle of Sheppey, local resident Dawn contacted the police following the theft of some garden furniture, including a bench that was made by her late husband. After tracking some of the items down to a neighbouring house, a search of the inside of the property has also turned up a large quantity of drugs.
We've got 1 bag of cut cannabis here.
A father, son and lodger live in the house. After questioning, the son and lodger admit the offences. The neighbourhood team have completely cleared the father of any wrongdoing whatsoever. The son and lodger are now transferred to the police station where they'll be charged for the offences.
The gentleman's been brought here today. He's been arrested on suspicion of possession of Class A drug and possession of a Class B drug.
It's now left to Steph and Terry to perform the tough task of telling Dawn that her garden bench has been destroyed.
We are going back to see the victim, just basically give her an update of what we found. She's not going to like the news that they've all been burnt. We've got to break that bad news to her. Dawn, hello. Come in, thank you. After what you told us this morning, we went and visited the address and we couldn't find really that much trace of the ornaments you described to us. The son who lives there has had a party at the weekend and he's intimated that some of his guests may have gone around the local area taking items and they've burnt them on their fire. And it's a possibility that your items have actually been burnt. I can't speak for them, but the impression I get, they had a drunken party.
Couldn't have been that drunk to go around people's property stealing. The brain still works.
I think that it's because of the alcohol. that they've done something like this, and they don't think about the consequences at the other end. We do have a windmill that we've recovered.
Is that your windmill? It is yours.
If there's any other items that they've discarded nearby, then hopefully I'll be able to tell you about that.
But the bench, I mean, that can't be replaced.
The sentimental value of the bench means that it's totally irreplaceable.
It was the bench that was of more value than anything, wasn't
Well,
it?
it was the last thing he made a few days before he died.
Dawn's distress is another example of how local crime can blight people's lives. Following the team's visit to the house, 2 men are now under arrest for a range of offences. It's another example of how an investigation of one crime by the team can often lead to the discovery of a multitude of others.
At this moment we've got 2 people in custody for these offences, which is very good considering it was just a few officers doing a few routine inquiries this morning. And basically the benefit of those inquiries is they were community-based inquiries. The community talked to us and they've basically given us the lead, and from that we've got 2 people in custody.
As we've seen today, whether it's taking down drug dealers or breaking up brawls, no 2 days are the same for the neighbourhood teams. But cracking down on crime and convicting criminals is the only way the scheme will stay afloat, because the public demand results.
All of the market traders' stock was seized. Trading Standards are now preparing a file on the case that could lead to a criminal prosecution. The man who stole Dawn's garden bench has been issued a restorative justice order and will have to meet her and apologise for his crime. The lodger was cautioned for cocaine possession. The son was convicted of cannabis possession and fined. The man arrested in the drug raid was innocent of any drug dealing but pleaded guilty to possessing cannabis. He was given a 12-month conditional discharge. His mother also received a conditional discharge. And the street brawler who beat up his best friend was cautioned for the assault. Coming up next time. The neighbourhood teams send in the dogs.
Obviously this is a passive drug dog, it's indicated you may have drugs on you, okay?
The graffiti buster gets wheeled out to wash away the Sheerness street vandals' wall scrawl.
Kind of not really funny, but children don't want to see and be influenced by all this vulgarity.
A warrant for a shoplifter leads the police on a run around the houses.
I'm just pleased he didn't fall through that roof.
Yes, I might have landed in my bedroom.
And a rise in car key thefts leads the neighbourhood team to search the home of a suspected car thief caught while in a high-speed road pursuit.
They're breaking into people's houses while people are asleep. And the question you ask yourself, do they take a weapon with them to give them protection when they're doing it?